Alex was a veterinarian, but many considered him to be more than just a doctor. He was someone who was not afraid to spend the night in the jungle, bottle feed lion cubs, and perform CPR on a monkey if necessary. However, one incident changed him forever. It happened 2 years ago when reserve staff reported a wounded cheetah found near the road. He was emaciated, thin, with lacerations on his side, most likely from a fight with another predator. Alex didn't hesitate. He personally drove to the site, sedated the animal, and transported it to his field clinic. He sat next to the cheetah all night, not leaving. The predator was weak but conscious. He just stared. Not like a wild animal, but like someone who understands everything but is too tired to fight. Alex spoke to him as if he were a person. "Hang in there. I won't abandon you. You'll make it." Weeks passed. The wounds healed. The cheetah ate from his hand, but remained wild. He didn't rub against his legs, snort affectionately, or catch toys. But every evening, when Alex came to him with water, he never took his eyes off him. And that was enough. And when the day came to let him go, Alex opened the enclosure and simply said, "You are free." The cheetah did not run away. He just walked away slowly and never looked back. For Alex, it was the end, or maybe just the beginning. Only 2 years had passed. The cheetah that Alex had nursed had grown into an adult, strong and experienced. No one knew where he was now, perhaps somewhere deep in the reserve, hunting, living his predatory life. Alex sometimes glanced into the depths of the savannah as he drove along familiar trails, just in the hope of seeing a fleeting shadow. But he never saw him again. Alex continued to work in the field. He rescued elephants, treated wounded leopards, and returned animals that had been thrown onto the highway back to the wild. He was where others were afraid to be. But one day, something happened that changed everything. During a rescue operation, Alex tried to free a baby zebra that had become entangled in an old wire trap. The terrain was dangerous. A loose slope, slippery soil after rain. A rock slipped under his foot. He fell down and hit a snag hidden under the leaves. His companions found him half an hour later. He was alive, but unconscious. He died that same day. Without words, without farewells. Only with a map in his pocket and dirt under his fingernails, as always. They decided to leave his body on the veranda of the clinic, open, under a canopy, overlooking the wilderness. There, where he himself had said goodbye more than once to those he could not save. Now it was his turn. People gathered, colleagues, locals, volunteers. Everyone was silent. No one knew what to say. And then something happened that no one expected. Everyone stood silently. Some bowed their heads, others wiped away tears. Only the wind rustled through the dry grass, carrying the scent of dust and wild earth. Alex's body lay under a canopy, covered with a thin cloth, as if resting after a hard day. All around were nature, and the people he had once inspired with his work. Suddenly, the silence changed. At first, it was broken by the barely audible rustling of bushes. People turned around and froze. An adult cheetah emerged from behind the trees. It moved slowly, almost silently, as if it knew where it was going. And it was not afraid of anyone. It came closer and sat down directly in front of the body. Its eyes did not seek danger. They showed recognition, calm, and what seemed like sadness. For several minutes, it just sat there, motionless, looking at the one who had once given it a chance to survive. One of Alex's colleagues wanted to step forward, but someone whispered quietly, "Don't touch it. It has a right to be here." And so they remained, the people and the cheetah, together, until the very end of the ceremony. And then the cheetah got up, looked once more, and disappeared into the grass. No one saw him again, but everyone who was there remembered forever. He had come to say goodbye. When the cheetah left, no one said a word for several minutes. It seemed as if even the wind had died down. People just stood there, feeling that they had witnessed something much greater than a normal farewell ceremony. It was not just an animal. It was a reminder of a connection that cannot be measured in words. The next day, photos and videos from the funeral spread across the internet. One of the volunteers managed to capture the moment when the cheetah approached and sat down in front of the body. The headlines screamed, "Wild cheetah comes to say goodbye to the man who saved him." Millions of people around the world watched with bated breath. The comments were full of tears, admiration, and gratitude. But those who were there knew the main thing. It was no accident. The cheetah did not come to the body. He came to the man who had once given him a chance at life. Alex was gone. But his work, and the love he had given to wildlife, lived on. In everyone who had witnessed that moment, and perhaps in the heart of a cheetah who had disappeared into the grass, but left a mark that would last forever. Weeks passed, but the story of the cheetah who came to say goodbye lived on. People came to the reserve specifically to see the place where it all happened. Some left flowers on the veranda where Alex's body lay. Others simply stood silently in front of the photograph attached to a wooden column. But no one expected what happened one day at dawn. Early in the morning, one of the young clinic employees was walking to the animal feed pens when he heard a soft, almost inaudible sound in the grass. He stopped and saw a cheetah sitting a few meters from the porch. The same one. He had come back. It didn't approach. It didn't seek attention. It just sat there, watching. For 5 minutes, no more. And then it slowly got up and went back into the forest. It wasn't like the first time. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. But that moment proved the main thing. The connection remained. The staff no longer had any doubts. He hadn't just come by chance that time. He knew. And now, from time to time, he returns. Silently. Without a sound. He continues to live his life, remaining part of the wild world. But somewhere deep within that life, in the very heart of the predator, one thing remains forever: the memory of the man who once gave him a chance. Time passed. The reserve changed. New employees arrived. Buildings and equipment were updated. Life changed. But Alex's photo still hung on the veranda. It was hardly ever touched, as if they were afraid to erase the warmth that remained in his smile. Every few months, someone would notice that he had returned. The cheetah. He would quietly approach, sit in the grass near the building, and watch. He never came close. But everyone knew it was no coincidence. The employees called him Shadow. He wasn't looking for help. He didn't know any words. But he kept coming back, to the place where his new life had begun. Not for the people, for the memory. When the sun set behind the horizon, and the savannah froze in golden light, the silhouette of the cheetah sometimes appeared in the distance, just for a moment. But that moment was enough to remember. Some bonds cannot be broken, even if one of you is already gone.